Yeah, fine. So good evening, Nisai. So happy to see you in day two interview, right? So already we done day one interview with the Java and Selenium, right? So now we are
Yes,
going to be move to the next topic, which is today we are going to be start mock interview in TestNG and framework, right?
yes.
Okay, good. So what are the framework are you using in your framework? So which framework you are familiar in that? Can you please tell me your framework contribution?
We are actually using hybrid framework. It's a
Okay,
combination of modular driven and data driven framework.
okay.
So
So you,
in
yeah, yeah, go
so
ahead, please.
in data driven, like we are using like we are fetching data from properties file and as well as Excel.
Okay. So here my question is how you can fetch data from DB in data driven? What is the approach you are doing in data driven?
Like actually in our project, we just give the data in the Excel and we fetch the data from Excel to like Eclipse using data provider.
No, that is external source. You are reading data from external source, which is Excel file. But I am asking how to read data from DB. How you can fetch data from DB. So which
Yeah.
database you are using?
Like I'm using we are using like MySQL database.
MySQL database. Okay. So how you can connect with the DB? Then how you can pull data from the DB? That is my question.
Yeah, like we basically I'm not much aware of it.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So in data driven, right? So you said before you read data from Excel, right?
Yes.
So how you can read the data from Excel? So what are the initial steps you are following for reading data from Excel one?
So for this, like we are using Apache POI,
Mm-hmm.
and first thing we have a separate class called Excel libraries for that.
Okay.
And first thing we are doing is like we are matching the test case name and the test sheet
Mm-hmm.
name.
Okay.
So
Good.
once the test case name and the test sheet name matches, we'll just
Mm-hmm.
like move on to the next step. Like we'll get the test sheet name,
Mm-hmm.
and like how the Excel sheet is like first we have the test case name, and then we have the separate column like 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the number of iterations. So on the right side, on the row side, we have all the datas, and at the end we have something called end row. So just to differentiate.
So you are looping row and column data. So based on that, you have
Yeah.
to send the data in specific steps, right?
Yes, correct.
Then there is 1,000 data. You need to looping all 1,000 data. How you can get the specific data? If you want to, for example, in home page you want to enter your PAN card number. Then how you can fetch the specific PAN card number? You can send into the in the test case steps.
So we'll find out like in which column or in which row our data
Mm-hmm.
exists.
Mm-hmm.
So like once we get the row and the column count, we'll use the get cell value to get the value from that cell and like use it in our program.
Okay. So can you please tell me what is the basic matrix we are following for reading data from row and column from Excel? So there is 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1 like that we are reading data in the particular row, right? So how you can
Yeah.
get data? Because you said you are looping all the data, right?
Yeah. So like we'll get the number of row counts,
Okay.
and then we'll get the number of column count by using like we have specified at the end saying row end.
Okay.
So once we'll find the match for row end, we'll get the count of the column. So using the count of the row and column, we'll just go and create the array in the data provider.
Okay.
And then using that, we'll fetch the data
Okay.
by using get cell value.
Okay.
We'll be having two loops.
Mhm.
So one we'll be having the cell count, one will be having the row count, and then we'll proceed to the column count, and we'll just use the get cell value and fetch the data from that.
Okay. So I sent you one file format which is XLS and XLX. How you can read this different type of format Excel file?
Okay, we can use XSF workbook.
For which one?
That is for XLSX.
Okay.
So for that, we can use XSF workbook, and then we need to pass the file input stream for that.
Okay. Oh no. Can you please come again? For which one we are using XSF?
XSF workbook we are using for XLSX, the second one.
Okay. For XLS?
For XLS, it's XS workbook, and there's something SX workbook.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so how you can generate the report in your framework?
So for that, we are using extend report. And in extend report, we are utilizing the class called extend spark reporter. So using extend spark reporter, we can customize the report however we need. We can also customize the title and test case designer name, and we can customize the HTML page however we need with the help of XSF Spark reporter, extend Spark reporter.
Okay, so how to generate the extend reports? Is that?
Okay, extend report, we have a separate class for extend report. In our framework, we have maintained a separate class for extend report. So
Can you please write on the steps? What are the steps you are following? Just for brief, share your notepad. You just give the.
it says host has disabled a participant from sharing screen.
You just give the syntax. That is the fine.
Okay.
So how you can generate the extend reports? That is the fine.
I'm not able to share the screen.
1 minute. I give you that. Yeah, now you can share.
Okay.
You just share your notepad. That is fine. Just write the syntax for that extend report.
Okay. So like for logging the reports, like we'll be using log dot.
Okay. So where here provided your test case name in extent report, how you can provide the test case name, and where you have to save this report.
Okay, like we can create a separate folder called reports,
Okay,
and
fine.
then the extent report will be generating one HTML file.
Okay. So how the extent report know where I have to save the file? How you can call that path inside extent reports?
So for that, like we can use file input stream.
Mm-hmm.
So like we can like initialize file input stream and mention the path in that, and pass the file input stream to extent report, like so that it will know like where to place the report.
Okay. Okay. How you can start test in specific test case name in for generating the extent report?
What was that?
How you can start the test for the specific test case name in extent reports?
Okay, specific test case name.
Are you trying to finding any answer, or
Like we can use like get methods.
mhm.
Get methods, like we'll be using that in like utilities, so that like to get the current execution method, and we'll give it to the extent report, like so that it can know like for which method it has to report.
Okay, what is the precondition we are using for starting the test case in extent report?
So first we need to initialize the extent report,
Mhm.
and
No, I'm
then
asking only the precondition.
like for that we need like we can mention extent report maven repository.
Okay, no problem. How you can generate the report with all three types of results, such as pass, fail, state, broken, like that?
Like we can use like log.pass,
Mhm.
log.fail. So using the help of iTest listeners, we can we can log the results. Like if any test case is passed, like with the help of iTest listeners, we can directly like pass or fail our test case.
Only with the help of I test only we can able to do that one.
Okay. Like we can. I'm not sure about that.
The extent report does not doing this action. Okay, fine. We can jump into the next one. Okay, what is the page object model framework?
So the page object model is like we'll specify the element in one class, and we'll be writing the methods. Like if there is any action for that, we'll also be writing the method using the same class. So like basically we will be separating if there is one page, so we'll be writing all the elements like in one class, and also the methods, Like say for example, if there is a login page, and we'll write the elements such as like email ID and password elements above, and below that we'll write a method saying that like to enter the name and click on login button. So basically, like if there are some elements in one page, like we are focusing it to keep on in one page only. So basically, like we are segregating it,
How you can segregate
and
it?
like elements we are keeping on one class, and for the action we are writing methods below that, and for the test case we are utilizing those methods, and like like it is separate. Like in test case we are writing in separate class, and the methods and the web elements will be in separate class.
Mhm. Okay. How
So
about the module-wise feature?
uh,
You say
what
the
is that?
element and the next is action, then
Yeah.
method. Okay, fine. The main part is module, right? So that reason we are concentrating page object model. What about that?
um, that like we'll be writing the test cases in the separate class. So we'll call that action method, and we'll be writing test case in the main test case class.
Okay, fine. You can stop your screen. No problem.
Yeah.
So why do we use uh, object repository? How we can use object repository in framework?
In object repository, it's,
Your voice is breaking, I think. So I'm asking about how you can use object repository in your framework.
so for that we are using a properties file.
Mm-hmm.
So the object, like the things which are changing, like example URL, the some things like database password, username, password, all those
Mm-hmm.
things is storing in properties file, like some file name dot properties. And to fetch that we are using properties class. So
Mm-hmm.
properties prop equal to new properties, and inside that like we need to pass the file input stream, like where exactly we have our properties file, and then we can use the prop dot load to load the properties file, and then we can use get get property, and then we can fetch the value from the properties file.
Okay. How to group
So
multiple test method with priority in TestNG?
so so for that we are using beside at test annotation, we will be using the priority tag. So at
Mm-hmm.
test, after that common bracket, priority equal to, and we can specify the priority.
Can you
So it
please
will execute.
write down the syntax?
Yeah. So it is at test, and then priority equal to, like we can mention any priority.
You just send me in chat box.
Yeah.
I'm
So
asking.
the
I'm asking how to group multiple test method with priority. You just mentioned only the priority, but I'm asking
okay.
how to group multiple test method. I'm asking with priority.
Okay. For this, like we can use the groups tag.
Mm-hmm. Then you can
So
write
at
down that one.
yeah, at test equal to groups, and in flower bracket you can mention the group name. So like the priority starts from the least priority. So it is from -5,000 to +5,000. So it will start running from the least priority.
Okay, how we can group that group that priority? So my question is, again I repeat
Yeah.
you, how to group multiple test method with priority. Now you are simply given groups only. I want to know, I am asking to you how to group this multiple method with priority. That is my question.
Okay.
No problem. Okay, how to call data provider from another class?
So we can just to call it, we can mention at test and in common bracket data provider equal to and the class name where we have the actual data.
Okay, what annotation we are using for that one?
It is at
How to
data
call data
provider.
provider from another class? This is my question.
Okay.
So which annotation you are using? Can you please give write down the syntax?
Yeah, it is at. So we'll use test. So we'll specify the class name like data provider equal to the class name.
Is it right?
I think it is at the data provider equal
So
to.
directly we can provide a test annotation. Okay, fine, no problem.
Data provider equal to class name, and then below that we can use at test method.
Yeah, okay, no problem. How to skip specific group of test case in TestNG?
So for that we can use exclude tag. Sorry, it's like enabled equal to false.
This is the one way we are following for skip the specific group of test case.
Yeah, like it will not skip the group like like if it will like individually, if you mention before like at test, it will skip those particular test.
I am asking how to skip group of test method. That is my question.
Okay, in the XML file, we can in the group tag we can mention enabled equal to false in the TestNG
Can you please
XML
write
file.
down that syntax?
Okay.
Are you done?
Yeah.
This is right one. This is not properly. I didn't get it.
Like we'll be writing that in the like group tag.
Okay, then
Like then like I will be using like that enabled equal to like true or false to skip it. Like if it is skip,
okay,
we'll
fine.
specify it as false.
Okay. Okay. What is the default value for TestNG priority?
So default will be 0,
Okay.
and we can go till minus 5,000 to plus 5,000 to plus 5,000.
Okay. What is the sequence order of what is the sequence execution order of annotation in TestNG? Can you please tell that order?
First it is at before suit,
Mhm.
and then at before class,
Mhm.
and at before test, and at before method, and then it is the at tag, the test cases, and then it is after method, after test, after class, and after suit.
So why do we use soft procession in TestNG?
So
In your
we need
framework?
to yeah.
Okay.
So if there is any title, so if there is any
Mhm.
mismatch in the smaller thing, suppose if there is any mismatch in the title, or if any spelling mistake or something like that, so that we'll use soft assert. So when we use soft assert, it will continue the test case execution instead of failing it. But in the reports, it will show it as failed. So like we should not stop the test case execution, but still we'll be reporting that as failed in the
Okay.
reports.
How to execute failed test case in TestNG?
Okay. So um,
Are you getting?
uh, like no.
Okay, fine. So are you having experience in Cucumber PDD?
Like I don't have experience, but like I know that, like I know the framework.
Okay, good. So what is the use of background in a feature file?
Which one? Background.
Yes, yes.
Background. Background. No, I'm not aware of that.
Okay. So what are the keywords you are using in feature file?
So keywords will be using given, when, then,
Mhm.
and we can also use and but. So
In
and will be
your yeah, continue. Please go ahead.
and we'll be using it to combine two or more sentences, and but we'll be using like something like if there is something negative cases, like we can use but.
Mhm.
So if there is any login page, and login should be successful, but it should like not throw the error message. So for that we can use but.
Okay.
And if we have like we should enter the username, like, and I should enter the username, and I should enter the password. So for that we can use and. So given we'll be using, like we'll usually write the precondition in that.
Mhm.
Then we'll specify the action.
Okay.
So
So how to use logical condition in Cucumber?
so logical condition we should be using in runner file, like a runner
Okay.
class.
Okay.
So we can, in the at tag, we can
Can you please
specify.
give me the syntax? There is 4 tag you want to execute. How you can use logical condition for this 4 tag?
So in the runner class, like we can write as tag equal
There
to.
is a test1, test2, test3, test4. This is the tag file I need to run. Okay. So here,
Okay.
how you can apply logical condition? What are the logical condition? You should tell the name of the logical conditions.
So there is or
Okay.
condition, and there is and there is one more called like negation condition, like not to execute the negation one.
Can you please give me the format how we can apply that and or which is negotiation?
Yeah. So the one which I sent here is and or condition. So here what happens is
This is and one or R1.
so sorry, this is or.
Okay. What is
So this is or.
what about and?
So and we need to specify it with separate double quotes. So we should specify it with, okay, I missed the double quotes at the beginning. I'll send it again. So for and we should mention like in the separate quotes for each and every name.
Okay.
For or we can use like without double quotes and separating it with a semicolon, a comma.
Okay. So what is the difference between scenario and scenario outline?
So scenario outline, we'll be using it to fetch the data from like with the example. So for scenario, like we'll be having example, and for scenario outline we'll be having example, and for the scenario there will be no example, and scenario will just specify like what scenario it is, and the scenario
Scenario
outline,
we didn't mention any test data.
no, like it is just the name, but scenario outline will specify the test data with the help of examples keyword.
Okay. What are the reporting tools to be used in Cucumber?
We can use extend reports.
Okay. Next.
Okay, extend reports. And, like like JUnit will be having like the default reporting one, so you can also use that.
The JNTest tool.
Like once we run the test cases, like we'll be having a report with the default JUnit one, so can use that.
Okay. So how to create a TestNG.xml file in Eclipse? Could you please tell me the steps? What is the procedure you are following?
So we can right click on the project and then TestNG, and then we can click on create XML file or convert to TestNG option. So once we click on that, we'll get the TestNG file.
What are the tags you are defined inside TestNG XML file? You should tell me that order, the tags order.
Okay, first one is the suit, and then it is a class level, and then it will be test level.
Okay. So and there is yeah.
And we can add the groups like wherever we want. We can like add the groups in either test level or class level.
Okay. So there is 100 method, okay?
Okay.
So here I want to run only 20 method. How I can define it inside TestNG XML file?
So we can either group it.
How you can group it?
So like we should use the run tag, and then we should group, then test equal to the group name, and like the TestNG runs like only the specific group.
Okay, tell me that format, how you can, so there is, I want to run only 20 methods. How you can do it? How you can define it inside TestNG XML file?
Yes, so
Because the client asking this is the priority one, you should first execute this only 20 test cases, you have to submit the report. So that reason I'm asking you, you just execute only the test 20 test method. What is the tax you are following? What is the procedure you are following in TestNG XML file?
or like we can go to the at like where we have specified the at test, and then there we should give the group name. So suppose like if there is like 50 test cases and we need to run 20 test cases. So for each test we can give any group name, and then from in the TestNG XML file we need to specify that group name, so that like it runs only that particular group.
So are you done parallel execution in your framework?
Yeah.
So how we can perform in TestNG?
So parallel, we need to specify in TestNG XML file as parallel equal to test, and then the thread count equal to like how much test case we need to run at a time. So suppose if you're running
How
2 or
much
3,
test case or
like how
count
much
what's
browser,
okay?
like how much browser it needs to open at a time.
Okay.
So there we can specify the thread count. So once we specify that, like the test will be like the test will start running in parallel, like depending on how much thread count we give.
Okay. So next is there is 10 test cases. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. There I want to execute specific test case more than 3 times. How I can execute? For example, there is login, home page, and what? Yeah, there is a login, home page. Next, you can take career page or contact us. Okay. Here I want to run more than 3 times, specifically the login page. How I can do that?
Okay. So like login or some page should be like they should run 3 times.
Yes, I want to run. I want to run the specific test case more than 3 times or 4 times, whatever you want, but more than 1 time.
Okay. No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, fine. How to execute selective test case without using annotation?
Like we can group it. or else like we can disable it using the enabled equal to false, and we can run the other test cases which we need to execute.
This is the way we are following.
Yeah, like we usually group it. Like
Okay,
we
what is
have
the use
separate.
of depends on groups?
So suppose there is one test which is dependent on some there is one test which is home page and it is dependent on login page. So we'll be using dependent on annotation, so that before executing that home page test case, it will execute the login page. So we can specify more than one test case for on depends on annotation.
How to pass parameter the specific test method?
So for that we can use at parameter annotation. So at parameter annotation, and to specify the parameter, we can specify that in TestNG level, like at in bracket parameter name equal to, and then we can specify the value. And in at test level, we need to specify at test and then parameter equal to the parameter name. And to catch the parameter in the class, like we need to like class name equal to string. Like if you want to catch the name, so we need to specify the constructor and catch the value.
Okay. How to provide data to test method?
Data to test method.
Yes.
So like one way is with this parameter.
Okay.
And the one more way is like at data provider, like by using data provider annotation.
Okay. How we can pass the data using data provider?
And so we can specify at data provider equal to at data provider equal to. So if you want to fetch like at data provider equal to, then we can specify the class name.
Okay, next.
So and then like we need to write the constructor to actually like fetch the data from data providers.
What is the return type we are using? Perfect. That is
It
very
is
important,
data
right?
object object.
Is it right?
Return type.
Right. Don't worry. Okay, good, cool. What are the exceptions you are facing in your framework, Lisa?
So the main exception like we usually face is a null pointer exception. So
Okay.
like if there is like no life to the driver, so then like we'll be facing null pointer exception. And other than that, we'll be facing like if there is any invalid path, we'll be facing like file not found exception. And then like element not found and
Okay,
element not
for
visible.
element not found, right? How you can solve that issue? If you are facing element not found, how you can class that
So
one? What is the
we can
strategy you
use
are using?
we can specify the weights. So yeah, so like usually you can like like specify the implicit wait, or you can like specify the thread.sleep. So why we usually get that error is like the WebDriver will not be able to find that specific element at that particular point of time. So if
Yeah,
you
I will
wait
give
for
you
some
wait
time,
time around 5,000 milliseconds. That time also that element does not click. Then how I can handle that situation?
maybe like it may be in
That
the
wait
frame.
and thread just for pause that execution and it's waiting. That is right. It's not finding any that insert web page. Just to give you the relaxation of that execution. That is right.
So like maybe like it is in the frames. So like the element is inside any frames.
Um, Sometimes it's clicking, sometimes it's not clicking. How to handle the situation? How you can do that?
Okay. So like it is like a dynamic element.
Okay. Yeah, of course. It's dynamic element. Sometimes it asking more time. Sometimes within 1 second that element is found. So this look like that waiting for some action. How we can handle the two?
Okay. Like the first one is like is with the wait, and
Sorry, come again.
like the first method, like we can specify like more wait and then check like how much time it is exactly taking, or like we
Okay,
can
what is the
rewrite the
interface using for Lance browser?
interface for Lance browser.
Yes.
And the one, the LYNC you're telling.
Um,
Okay. Like the browser name is LYNC.
okay. How you can use encapsulation concept in your framework?
So encapsulation. So for WebDriver, we can make the WebDriver as private, and then we can write the separate public method to access the WebDriver. Then
How you can use abstraction concept in your framework? What is the abstraction?
so it is hiding the implementation and showing on like hiding the internal implementation and showing only the functionality to the user.
Okay, how we are using this concept in your framework?
Abstraction.
Okay. How to pass input data through feature file Cucumber?
Input like from external file.
I want to pass data from feature file. How I can use? How I can do that?
Like with the help of examples keyword.
Okay. So we can finish our interview. Okay. Then you are doing well, but why you are whenever you are answering for every question, why you are thinking, you are analyzing yourself whether my answer is correct or wrong. Why you are evaluating yourself? Be confident, okay? You should tell without afraid. You can say answer frankly in an open manner. This is the right answer. This is the confident, okay? So I'm asking, is it right? Yes, right. If it is wrong, yeah, you can say wrong. Yes, it is wrong. But for you are telling most of the answer right way. But why you are ideally sitting and you are thinking something, whether it right or wrong? Why you are doing like this? It is losing your confidence. Okay, the interviewer will analyzing your face. So most of the interview happen through audio. It's not happen in video. Okay. So they want to they ask you, just you can share the screen if they give you some programs. Okay, that time only you should share the screen. Okay, other than that, if anything important for rare interview only, they take some video interview. Okay, but if the first interview also uh, I got the whenever I am asking question to you, right? Because you are telling slowly, it's fine, but you are taking sometimes very too slow. It is giving this guy that does not have that much confidence for telling the right answers, like that with showing your negativity. Okay.
Okay.
And second thing is uh, you should prepare well. Okay. So this is basic questions. You have almost 2.3 years experience. Yeah, fine. But when I'm asking Cucumber BDD framework, right? You just say, yes, I have experience. Okay, you just try it, your self-learning wise. Okay, you just create one sample framework. So which I already posted in my channel, right? You just create 3 different package or 4 different package. So one package contains some class, one package contains object repository, one package contain the which is action class, one package contain common method. That is enough. This is the framework. Okay. So how we can call, how we can use abstraction, how we can implement interface concept, OOPS concept in our framework. This is very important. That time only the interviewer will aware of it. Yes, this guy really having good experience in framework. Okay. You just tell the basic level of answer. That is very interactive and attractive manner. Okay, Skype very good with framework because nowadays every company expecting framework experience.
Okay.
So not in development level. You just want to know how we can use method, how we can handle the exception, how we can solve the problem. Okay, so this is very important. Okay.
Okay.
Then yeah, don't worry. You should prepare again. Okay. You just what are the question I ask you, just to note it, right? I hope you already noted it. You just remind and recall. Okay. So the background keyword is very important. Cucumber BDD.
Okay.
In Cucumber BDD, small part only. How we can generate the report on what are the keywords, how we can use the tags, how we can create the features file. Inside features file, what are the tags you are using, how we can group the test case. This is very important. How we can set the priority for the group, the cases. So like that we have to take. Okay. So don't take much time because it is eating our interview timing. So almost all the interview will be happen within 30 minutes or 40 minutes. This is the maximum. Okay. For 5 minutes it will be taken for your overall experience and about your self introductions. Next, they will be
Oh.
jump into the Java. From Java, they will be asked 5 questions. For Selenium, they will be asked 5 questions. Framework side, they will be asked 5 questions. The TestNG, yeah, must you should aware of it. TestNG, they will be asked some questions from TestNG. So this is the things the interview expect from all the candidates. Okay. So if you have above 4 years experience, that time they will be expect more than more. What is advanced level of from Kukumba? Okay, share with you, and you can submit your MacMate brief also. I just want to show in this video. 1 minute. Just to share my screen, and I want to, before moving to next one. Okay. Have you seen my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see.
Have you seen Notepad, right?
No, I'm not able to see Notepad.
Again, I share.
Okay.
Now, have you seen Notepad?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, so really appreciate your taking up this mini assessment, which is I gave you in first day interview. You are doing good, but just to give you some tips. Okay, when you are trying to doing the coding part, when you are scripting, taking export, you just use a unique way. Okay, which is which attribute value does not contain any random value, random character. For example, here I can see one H user, right? One H or I. Sometime we can see AAE, so some random character, some random number will be updated with attribute value. In that case, you can ignore that attribute value. Okay, you can take which attribute value contain unique one. Okay, which is meaningful name. Okay, and and whenever you are doing steps execution, for each steps you have to do some validation part. For example, after clicking on login button, whether the home page will display or not, you just put some if condition or accept condition. Okay, this is the validation part. This is very, very important. Okay, because continuously you are writing the steps, there is no validation part. You're just executing all the steps, but whether really after click on submit button, the success message will be coming or not, or that the home page will be display or not. We need to validate each and every page. Okay. And yes, fine, good. Whenever you are completed your assessment, you can take a lot of example. Amazon site Amazon is good practice site for taking dynamic expert, right? So because when you are finding a specific product, each and every time it will be changing that search result list, right? Then you have to find the specific element, you have to click. This is the very challenging scenario. You just to try it out, okay?
Okay.
And so here you are using minus, don't use index value, which is 5. This is like, sometime what happened, this index value does not working for dynamic expert. You can try it, okay? In that case, you can avoid it, okay?
Like
So
actually, like I was using the XPath axis. So like you said to use XPath axis, right? So like we are playing around with us.
Yeah, good. So really, I'm very thankful for taking this initiative. Okay, because when you are trying to do coding part, that time only you really understand how we can implement Java inside Selenium. Selenium just for 50, only 30%, but Java only almost we are using 70%. Java only done all the validation practice. Okay, Selenium just doing interaction with the web application. That is the enough. But what we are getting, what we are validating, what we are doing, all the action will be validated by you using Java programming. Okay, so that reason automation and tester should aware of it. Java plus Selenium and framework, which is how we can generate the report framework. Okay.